Ashley, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Can we get a coffee?
Yeah.
Chris, what does a Minns government look like?
Well, common sense will be the watchword. With inflation at record levels, real pressure on the family budget, and particularly health and education suffering, if not a crisis, then serious pressure. We really need practical solutions to some of these problems.
So far, we're seeing quite a small target campaign from you and from Labor. Is that a timid approach?
Look, I don't think so. I mean, in many respects, it reflects the circumstances on the ground. If you're talking to families about how difficult they're finding it to make ends meet, and people are waiting, 21 hours in an emergency department, they're going to say to political parties, hey, can you solve this first?
Do you have an overarching vision to transform the state?
If there's one single issue that I think defines us and needs immediate help and attention, it's education, public education in particular. My dad's a retired public school teacher. He said it was a vocation. There's no machine that you can build that can replace a great educator. We're really going to have to invest in the best and brightest to get into our schools and think about the future.
Much has been made of you being a Labor man and devoting really your adult life to the Labor movement. Are there any past policies or leaders that you're looking to for inspiration?
The Labor Party, I've been a member of since I was a kid. I genuinely love it. I believe in it. I think it's a great cause for social progress in Australia, not just in New South Wales. It doesn't mean they always get it right. I mean, there's been some spectacular failures. But I do, you just have to look at Whitlam and Hawke and Keating and Rand and think these people got the top jobs, they made positive change, and my colleagues and myself, we want to aspire to be a great government, not just one that falls over the line.
They were seen as being great reformers. Do you see yourself as wanting to be a great reformer?
I mean, in many respects, I do think we need reform, particularly in relation to health and education. It's not just going to be about throwing money at the problems, it will be about innovative solutions. But in a funny way, if you look at the iterative nature of those governments, you don't know what challenges you're going to face and what reforms are going to be needed often before a government begins.
How can voters be assured that the bad old days of Labor are really well and truly behind the party in New South Wales?
So there's been some terrible behaviour from New South Wales Labor members that have let the community down. So there's no putting that under the carpet or pretending it didn't exist. The voters were right to condemn Labor during that period. We've learned those lessons and we're determined not to repeat them. But I acknowledge, in many respects, only time in office will excise those demons, because people are going to have to see us in executive office and see that we've changed.
There's been lots of talk about women and female voters and female representation. Now, obviously, Labor has a much better record than the Liberals on this. If you win, your cabinet will be almost 50-50. Men, women, your leadership team will be 50-50. How do you think that translates into how you govern and the decisions that will be made?
Well, I mean, I think the main thing is that I don't want to have a big celebration party for the fact that we've got 50% representation in the leadership or the shadow cabinet and the eventual cabinet if we win the election. It should just be natural. If you want to lead a modern political party, it needs to look like the electorate that you hope to represent. So we've got senior leaders who are women, who are the deputy leader of the party, the shadow minister for education, the shadow minister for the environment, shadow minister for transport in New South Wales, who are close colleagues of mine who make the decisions in the leadership group, who will be part and parcel of what New South Wales Labor will look like in government.
On gambling, you have been criticised for your stance. There's now a policy that you've released. A lot of people say it doesn't go far enough. Isn't it more important, and don't you have a responsibility to your constituents than the profits of clubs and pubs?
Well, I mean, obviously it is, but we don't see it in those terms. And the cashless gaming proposal is in place in only one jurisdiction around the world, and if you don't have a daily limit on the amount of money someone puts through a machine, you could exacerbate the problem.
But do you acknowledge that you are out of step with the Crime Commission, religious groups, charities, even Unions New South Wales? They're saying that it should be cashless gaming in New South Wales.
Well, I mean, I guess all I can say is that if we do get elected in March, we'll make sure that we've got an evidence-based approach to major reform.
You represent Cogra. You hold it by the slimmest margin of any MP in the state.
True.
How concerned are you that Labor could win the election but you lose your seat?
Someone has to run and win that seat, and realistically, we can't form government if we don't win Cogra.
It's a huge ask, just mathematically, in terms of the number of seats that Labor needs to win.
Yeah.
Can you see them?
On good days I can see them. For some reason I get the sense that it'll be a decisive result one way or the other.
Chris Minns, thank you.
Thank you, Ashley.